If you're a Gundog owner, either new or seasonal, you've probably wondered what is the best gear to buy. There's so much choice, it's actually pretty confusing. But I'm here to tell you that it doesn't have to be complicated. Here are the 8 essentials that are going to set you up for success. Pet shops and online stores are full of stuff that you really don't need. There's harnesses, toys, leads, long lines, the kitchen sink, the list goes on. They're designed to make you think you need everything, when most of the stuff just ends up in the cupboard collecting dust. The reality is you don't need most of it, surprisingly. A few things, when used correctly, beat a lot of the mediocre stuff that don't even get touched. It's all about quality over quantity and consistency over a whopping collection. In this video, I'm going to show you the 8 things that actually matter. These items will set you up for success. Everything else is pretty much just optional. So first up, we have the one thing that I pretty much have on me at all times, as I have it on my very trusty lanyard, and that is my Gundog whistle. This is going to be the piece of kit that you're effectively going to be able to communicate with your dog when they're in the field, or wherever you are for that matter, cleanly, consistently, and concisely. Now, it's not a one whistle fits all. You're going to need to find the right hertz for your dog. Now, for your spaniels, you're going to want to go for a 210.5 hertz whistle. Now, because our spaniels usually work in close proximity, we're not going to need a whistle that's going to go as far. For your Labradors and your HPRs that just go a little bit further, you're going to want to go for your 211.5 hertz whistles. So you may be wondering, why is a whistle so useful? Firstly, and one of the reasons I love a whistle is it removes emotion from your cues. It's very clear and consistent across the board, and as long as your dog is conditioned to it and understand what it means, it will take you very, very far. Your voice carries emotion and inconsistency, meaning the whistle is just going to cancel all that out so you won't have to worry about it, even if you are bubbling on the inside with anger. A whistle is always going to be the same, no matter what. And the great thing about it is it carries over long distances, so you can actually save your voice. And your dog is going to hear it the same every single time, obviously providing you blow it the same. And the whistle has multiple uses. You can use it for recall, stop whistle, hunting work, and just giving your dog clear, simple, and effective cues. Next up, and this is probably my Swiss Army item, and that is my trusty rabbit balls. These are designed for hunting practice due to its texture and hunting scent, meaning you can throw it out and your dog's going to be able to search for it quite effectively. And this is real rabbit fur, so it is actually mimicking the real thing. Now, this is very different to a regular tennis ball. However, there is a tennis ball inside here. One of the reasons why I like the rabbit ball so much is it takes away the sandpapery material of a tennis ball, because if you give your dog a tennis ball for extended periods of time, you're actually going to wear their teeth away by using the tennis ball, as it's got quite a sandpapery feel to it on their teeth. Now, the rabbit ball is great because you can hide it in cover for your dog to hunt out. You can actually use it for basic retrieve work as well. That includes marked, memories, blinds, and even all of your directionals. But what you shouldn't use it for is endless ball throwing. You want to be able to incorporate proper means of fulfillment, not just endless ball throwing on a field. Next up, we have our Gundog dummies. Now, these come in various different sizes, and I would highly recommend that you start off on a smaller size and don't jump the gun and go to the big guns. Now, we do have varying different dummies depending on what you're going to be doing with your dog. So say you're doing some water retrievals, we do have the water dummies. These are pretty cool, to be fair. I do like to use these a lot in summer with my dogs. Or say we've got the marked retrieves, which make it a little bit easier for your dog to see at longer distances, And then we've even gone as far as to getting shaped dummies that actually mimic real life game. Now, I only have a small collection, but there's absolutely loads that you can get. But please don't get overexcited and start just spamming the crap out of a website. Make sure you're getting your dog to effectively use these tools first. Otherwise, they are just going to be collecting dust in a cupboard. If I'm being completely real with you, I probably would just get multiple of these and do various different things with them. And as I've said, they come in different weights and sizes for training purposes. And usually, if you follow the process properly, they will build more confidence and desire for your dog to retrieve. And something else I like to use dummies for is teaching dogs a nice solid hold so that you can actually get a good, lovely delivery. And next up is probably one thing that most people should use, and that is the trusty long line. I do sometimes recommend a flexi, but because this is more general purpose and you can get away with doing a lot more, whereas the flexi can be a little bit clunky if you're trying to do Gundog retrieval work and things like that, I'd highly recommend that you go with the long line. So what this does is it gives your dog freedom whilst you maintain control. Now, there is a little bit of a catch-22 when it comes to long liners. I feel that people get a little bit too codependent on these and they use them as a little bit of a crutch. And something else that can happen is our dogs can actually get quite long line smart, meaning when it's on, they'll be like really behaved and they'll be solid dogs, and the minute it's off, they're like, haha, see you later, adios. So you need to make sure that you're not becoming dependent on this and you actually use what it's effectively used for. And the reason I like to use a long line is just mainly for the initial stages when I'm introducing something to my dog, whether that be recall or the first initial instances of doing the retrieve. It also allows for your dog to explore safely and reliably in the environment that you're in. And it also provides you with the ability to stop your dog from blowing you off, providing that you're obviously in the distance of being able to grab the long line. And it's going to allow you to gradually build reliability before fully going off lead. Which is a common thing that I see is when people go from an easy environment and then jump the gun straight to a hard environment and then wonder why their dog's ignoring them. Next up, we have the trusty slip lead. Now, this is a tool that I'm going to recommend that you don't use one of these unless you are receiving professional guidance, because we do actually need to condition this so that your dog understands lead pressure. I do have two types of slip leads here to show you for reference. Now, the things that I look out for a good quality, good solid slip lead is that we actually have a reliable stopper. See how hard and difficult it is for me to move that stopper? That's because obviously, one, my dog is conditioned to pressure, meaning they're not pulling through that pressure and causing the stopper to weaken as the lead's going to get looser, and it's nice and firm and it's difficult to move, meaning I can put the lead on correctly to where it needs to sit on the dog's neck. The reason I like this orange one is you can actually change the sizing of the lead itself. So say if I'm working a little teensy tiny dog, I can make it quite small, or I can adjust these little stopper bits here and make them bigger so that I can put them onto a larger dog. This also has a little bit of a catch so that you can't tighten the lead too tightly. And the reason I like the orange one is because it's slightly longer for handling purposes and it's bright orange. So if you lose it in the field, you're going to find it all right. And one thing I see people make as a mistake with slip leads, aside from conditioning it incorrectly, is actually putting the lead on wrong. So the reason I like slip leads is they're easy to put on and off. I genuinely just take this out with me with my dogs and that's all I'll use. They give clear, solid communication, obviously as said previously, providing you condition it correctly. And there's no confusion on how they work. For me, these are essential for handling and training. And they remove the faff of clips and buckles and harness sizing and all that kind of jazz. You literally just slip this on and away you go. Now, you're probably thinking, he's recommended all this blooming shit. Where the fuck am I supposed to put it all? That's where this next item comes in. That is the trusty Gundog vest. This thing honestly is like a freaking TARDIS. You can stuff these pockets with absolutely all sorts and you're going to be absolutely sound for taking your dog out for a training session. Now, the reason I like it so much is there's just so many pockets for literally everything and you can get different ones for different purposes. I've had literally up to about 8 dummies in here, which we're talking like this level of dummy, which are actually quite heavy as well. I genuinely think I've had everything in here bar the kitchen sink. Another reason why I like this is it keeps my hands free and it gives me easy access to the pockets. One key factor of if you've got a spaniel, you need to have that sleight of hand, especially if you're doing a lot of your hunting drills. You could even just use this if you're going out for a walk, because you could put just your keys, your wallet, everything in here pretty much. This next one might not seem like a common one or one that you've probably thought of, and it's actually the trusty treat pouch. The reason I like this is because one, it stores your dog's actual food in there, meaning you can reward them when you're out on a training session or you're just out on a generic walk. And it keeps things easy and accessible for you to get in there and out and reward your dog. The amount of times I tell off my clients because they turn up with their little coin purses or the little Tesco's food bags stored into their pockets, faffing about, flipping for treats, It's annoying, it's impractical, and it's dampening your time frame in between your markers. Why I like treat pouches so much is it keeps rewards handy whilst you're out. And like I've just previously said, it stops you faffing in pockets and bags. And your hands stay free for clear communication, which is absolutely vital. Something else that's vital is it actually speeds up your training delivery. The best thing about this one is it actually has a waist strap, so you can just pop it on and away you go. Now, if you're really averse and you're a style icon out there, you can actually store this in your pocket of your vest so that it's not on show. Now, this last one is something that all of you right this second watching this video do have access to, and that is a marker. More specifically, a terminal marker. So your dog's ability to understand when they've done something right, they are to be rewarded. And the way in which we clearly communicate that to our dogs is via the use of a marker word. So in this instance, it could be yes. You can also use a clicker for this, which would work exactly the same way as your yes. Rather than saying yes, you would simply just click and reward. And the reason a marker is so important is because it creates a clear form of communication and a clear moment of understanding. And it bridges the gap between a behavior and a reward. And you can also use this in your day-to-day life, not just in your formal training sessions. And the way in which you would use this is the exact moment your dog does a desirable behavior, you want to mark that moment in time. So as soon as they do it, you mark with your marker, yes, and you pay the dog with some food. Now, you're going to want to do that every single time because you don't want to tarnish what your marker word means. And you can use this marker for pretty much everything. Your sits, your downs, your recalls, pretty much anything you can think of that you can pay a dog for, you can use a marker. And as a whole, markers are just a brilliant way in which you can provide clear communication. So just to wrap up, you do not need a mountain of gear. You just need a few essentials that are going to get the job done. And these 8 items are going to give you the needs to communicate with your dog effectively. They're going to keep you organized and efficient. They're going to make your training and handling easier. And they are built for the job, which is obviously a bonus. And if you don't have all of these, I'd start by just building up your collection. My most important would be, of course, your marker. That stands above all. Next up would most likely be a long line, and then followed by your training equipment. So that would be your Gundog dummies, your rabbit balls, and so on. If I had to just pick 4, it would be slip lead, long line, rabbit ball, and my marker. You ideally want to invest in good quality gear because it will genuinely last you ages. And you'd be amazed in what you can achieve with just these 8 things. And stop buying random stuff because it looks cool. Your bank will thank you for it.